my PhD, my scientific exploration. I jumped back into the third year of the clinical year of seeing patients, which I was terrified of. I was there to be a lab rat, I was there to be a scientist, not to talk to people. And so my first rotation was surgery, which was great because there's very little talking to people. Unfortunately, one afternoon, one Saturday, when things tend to be a little slower, a little quieter, and you actually do fewer surgeries in general unless they're emergent, so you tend to talk to people, I was rounding with my chief resident. And we went to the bedside of a gentleman who had been hospitalized. He'd been passing out, going unconscious. And they'd done a number of studies to figure out what could be done surgically to reverse this. He had a lot of clot, a lot of disease in the blood vessels that supplied the brain. But it was deemed, for things that eluded me as a third-year med student, that he was not going to be a candidate for surgery, he was not eligible. And as I sat at the bedside, or stood at the bedside, as my chief resident was explaining this to this patient, his family standing next to him, we're all standing, it dawns on me what she's actually saying, without saying it. He was going to die. He was wide awake, talking in this conversation. He looked like my dad, he could have been my dad. And we're telling him, without actually saying it, that he's going to die. I removed myself from that room, perhaps not as discreetly as I had hoped. I really wish I could have finished. And I went into the hallway. I started to sob. And a few minutes later, my chief resident came out to find me. She stared down at me and said, "Don't ever do that again." And don't think for 1 minute I don't go home and cry every night. I knew in that moment that there was something for me to learn there. I was not going to be that kind of doctor that waited until I went home to cry, but I didn't know what kind of doctor I would be. There was a true